Hello, everyone. My name is Esther Diaz, and this is my presentation on understanding diversity. Before we dive into the topic, I want to start by reflecting on my own background and reflecting on what makes me me. So, like I said, my name is Esther. I am a 32-year-old female. I was born in the Dominican Republic. My parents were born there, their parents were born there, and so on. I do not have any knowledge about being part of any other um race, even though in the Dominican Republic it is composed of many different um ethnicities like Europeans and Africans and so on. I am also a Christian. I consider myself to be middle class, and for the future, my career goal is to become a Spanish teacher. Today, I am going to explore the challenges faced by lower class Black students, particularly how socioeconomic status intersects with racial identity in education. As someone who is deeply committed to social equity, and I chose this topic because it aligns with my future career goals of becoming an educator, where I hope to work towards addressing the systemic barriers students face. So my research was focused in investigating how students, specifically Black students, are affected because of their economic status. Um, and yeah, that's it. So for my research, I picked three different sources. The first one is A Wider Lens on the Black-White Achievement Gap by Richard Rothstein. This is an article where he points out the the gaps, the achievement gaps between Black and white students, and he explains how it's not just about race, it's about the way society has structured opportunity for different racial and economic groups. Um, particularly those in low income areas. He explains how they have faced significant disadvantages in access to quality education, resources, and support systems. So when we look at educational achievement, we often see that Black children from low income families struggle to perform at the same level as their white counterparts. And this gap is not just the result of individual factors, but is deeply connected to systemic inequities in society. Um, he also argues that poverty and race intersects to create unique barriers for Black children, especially those in lower class families. So basically, living in poverty can have a profound impact on a child's ability to learn and succeed academically. And for many Black children, poverty means living in neighborhoods with underfunded schools, high crime rates, and limited access to healthcare. My second source was a YouTube video from TED. It was a TED talk done by Jessica Sharp. Um, Jessica insights are very valuable for understanding the multidimensional impacts of poverty on education, particularly for students who come from lower income backgrounds. This TED Talk helps explain how children living in poverty face obstacles not just in academics but also emotionally. It affects their social skills and their physical health, which are critical components that influence their success in school. Poverty affects children's cognitive abilities, things like problem solving and others. Low income children are less likely to attend quality early childhood programs and are often behind academically by the time they start school. So, as a future educator, understanding these challenges will help build a more supportive, empathetic classroom for students from disadvantaged backgrounds. My third source is an article, online article. The title is Five Ways Teachers Can Address Social Economic Gaps in the Classroom by Jessica Hayes. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Jessica talks about the experience that she has gained as a teacher from teaching in a small rural elementary school with students from low income families. And she talks about the lessons she has learned about the many challenges students face. These students are more likely to struggle with social conduct issues, lack of emotional support, and limited to resources, which can affect their behavior and overall well-being. So all these articles, uh, all these sources explain really how kids can be affected by their social economical status, not just educationally, but it affects them in many ways. It shows how there's inequalities in the system. Schools that are in lower income neighborhoods usually get less resources than others. So my takeaways from these resources and my research. For the first one, socioeconomic inequality and historical system discrimination. I feel like the black-white achievement gap is deeply rooted in socioeconomic inequality and historical systematic discrimination. Children from lower class black black families face significant barriers to success in education, and these barriers usually come from poverty, community disinvestment, and the lack of access to resources. Number two, for my research, number two, one takeaway was about how poverty and its effects starts from number two is about poverty and its effects that start from the womb. The video provides an interesting look into the intersection of socioeconomical status and childhood development, especially in relationship with academic success. Jessica talks about how poverty affects a child's brain development even before birth. When pregnant mothers live in poverty and experience chronic stress, it impacts the baby's development, particularly the brain. And for number three, a key takeaway from this article is that teachers can make a significant impact on students from low income backgrounds by being proactive, creative, and supportive. Setting high expectations, being resourceful, and fostering a supportive environment is essential for helping students from disadvantaged backgrounds thrive, both academically and personally. That will be everything, and thank you so much.